Young girls have electricity practically at their fingertips in this sci-fi drama series The Power, based on Naomi Alderman's best-selling novel of the same name. This gives them more strength than ever. They no longer live in constant fear that males will win out. Instead, they can use their supernatural ability to pursue their goals and fight for their rights like never before. Margaret Cleary Lopez, the mayor of Seattle, reflects on the reality that women are living in a world they never imagined in The Power Season 1, Episode 1. She believes that all we needed to do was destroy the previous society. Every change has a spark at its core. This world did not exist 6 months ago. Teenage girls, however, begin to observe changes in themselves in various parts of the globe as a similar power begins to emerge from within them all. Jose, Margaret's daughter, senses it as she resentfully scrolls through her mother's social media feed. She unintentionally shocks her crush through the lockers later on at school. She rubs her neck, feeling strange about herself. When her classmate Kat sees and promises to explain what she's feeling, she stops rubbing her neck. Kat demonstrates to Jose how to control her ability, which she has had for the past 2 weeks. Jose turns off all the lights in the vicinity while she is learning. Roxy Monk travels to London to witness her brother's wedding. She goes there and requests a job from her crown boss, Father Bernie Monk. Her brothers were offered jobs by Bernie, but he rejects her because he feels she is too sentimental. After drinking wine at the wedding, Roxy later uses the wine bottle and her electrical abilities to cause a fire by accident. But until she goes home to her mother, these abilities don't completely materialize. Men burst into their home that evening. She feels a surge of strength as one of them grabs her mother. One of the guys is shocked by Roxy as she charges at him. But before she can take further action, the other guy knocks her out. When she awakens, her mother is dead and the men have gone. She returns to the wedding celebration covered in blood. Tums strives to succeed as a writer in Nigeria. At first, he disregards his buddy Duty's tip about a group of women attempting to reawaken their magical abilities. But he shows up at the gathering to steal the story from Duty after getting an odd electrical shock from a lady he hooks up with. He films women using sparks from their fingertips to play, but they quickly capture him and start to attack him. And then there's Allie, a teenager in Alabama whose foster parents treat her like an infant because she can't talk because of earlier trauma. Allie hears a voice during church services criticizing the preacher for attributing Adam's sin to the first woman, Eve. Although Allie attempts to flee, the voice follows her. It identifies itself as Allie's guardian angel and assures her that she will never again experience dread. She has the ability now. A better future is in your control, the voice assures her, as it commands her to speak at dinner, prompting her to speak for the first time in months. She informs her foster parents that she no longer wants to consume meat because she does not understand the satisfaction in taking another person's life. The Montgomery Taylors don't express joy at her speaking ability. Instead, they advise her to respect her position. However, this was never her area. The voice in Allie's mind wonders how many other girls Mr. Montgomery Taylor has sexually abused, like he is about to take advantage of her when he follows her to her room. Evidently aware of what her husband is about to do, Mrs. Montgomery Taylor diverts his attention by cranking up the radio to drown out any commotion. Mr. Montgomery Taylor has previously raped Allie, but this time she is able to resist his torture. She grabs his visage with her newly discovered abilities and electrocutes him. The voice then commands her to flee. The voice in her head serves as her navigator, even though she has no idea where she is heading. Allie eventually stumbles upon an aquarium where a talk about electric eels, which emit shocks to stun their prey, is being conducted. The voice informs her that this ability existed in nature prior to her. It is the world's most natural thing. The voice claims that the eels have the ability to influence their prey by seizing control of their nervous system. The strongest of them also go on groups of hunts. The eels in their tank turn to face Allie as sparks fly from her palms. In The Power Season 1, Episode 2, Margot awakens her husband on the occasion of their anniversary, and Jose, who is still getting used to her newfound strength, starts a fire in the microwave. Margot is told that the budget for emergency services has been exhausted. There are fires starting everywhere, and teenage girls are always to blame. Rob examines in girl's arms and determines that the burns on her arms were caused by electrical current. He believes she has been harmed by someone. Her mother, however, asserts that she is only engaged in typical playground brawls with other girls. After receiving a shock to the head, Nudie is currently resting in the hospital. Tun pledges to learn what occurred to her. Even though there are already rumors that Nudie is a witch, He then decides to post the video of her electrocution without getting her permission. Margot views Tun's video and the comments from young girls who say the same thing is happening to them. She plays the footage for Governor Daniel and claims that this incident is what caused all the recent fires. Although he doesn't take it seriously, he promises to send a squad to investigate covertly and divert the money she needs. However, his real counsel is for her to cool off and return to her husband. Rob and Margot eventually have a chance to celebrate their anniversary and catch up at home. Margot is urged by Rob to express her fury. She cannot allow it to percolate. He gives her a wedding gift from his mother and asks her to shatter it as a gift. She throws it to the ground after letting her anger over Dandon's treatment. Joss is also experiencing a lot right now. One day as Rob is driving her home from school, she unintentionally shocks the car with electricity. Rob guesses if she did the same thing with the microwave, but Joss just exits the vehicle and strolls off. She may not want to discuss her new ability with her parents, but at least she has Kat, and now Ryan, who just gave Joss their first kiss. Authorities in Carpathia describe the fires as acts of vandalism and anarchy, and declare that the young female offenders will receive the death penalty. Tatiana, a former gymnast who is now married to the president of the Carpathians, Viktor Moskalev, just grins. Tatiana makes vain attempts to persuade Viktor that he should be more concerned about other matters than the antics of teenage girls. She recalls how her mother had advised her to be more subdued and silent when she was a teenager. Her mother pays her a visit in the present to inform her of her father's death and to solicit funds. Tatiana, however, makes the choice to give her nothing, just as her mother did not give her anything. Roxy attempts to persuade her father to track down the killers of her mother, but she doesn't believe he is taking the situation seriously. Later, she watches the in-duty footage that has gone viral. She informs Bernie that she is able to act similarly, and other females don't even have the strength she does. She then displays her talents to her father and brothers after bringing them to a field. In the meantime, Ali keeps traveling. She attempts to pray, but a voice in her head tells her that nothing she has done will please God. She steals money while concealing her identity because she is concerned about the rumors spreading about Clyde's death, which point to Ali as the prime suspect in his murder. She eventually comes across a wrecked vehicle and jumpstarts it using only her hands. But when she unintentionally harms a young girl, the car's owner pushes the girl to the ground and drives off. Ali sits alone in a field, sore and worn out, and contemplates why this is all occurring to her. Her voice states, "Because the world needs a revolution, Ali will serve as its mouthpiece." Teenage girls are gaining strength all over the globe, but there are risks involved with that. Helen informs Margot by phone in the morning that a plane has crashed in the center of the city. Seattle contends with the fallout from the plane crash in the Power Season 1 Episode 3. Governor Dandon tells Margot to back off and let him manage it because it was brought on by an electrical issue on board. Margot, however, has a sneaking suspicion that the crash was caused by teenage girls, just like in Tun's video. CNN calls Tund and asks to buy his footage and hire him for more. His father wants to give up on his goal of becoming a journalist and stop embarrassing his family, but Tundi is clear about what he wants. In-duty retorts angrily when he subsequently breaks the news to her. After all, he obtained the position as a result of her account, and without her permission, he posted pictures of her online. Tund packs up to leave for his new job after failing to make amends with duty. Ali is discovered unconscious on the side of the road by a Sisters of Christ monastery member, who then helps her into her vehicle. Ali, who identifies herself as Eve, is fed by Sister Maria. Maria claims that the convent is constantly accepting new females like Eve, girls without a place to go. Ali learns from the local girls that they all possess the ability. She is disturbed by this because she believed she was unique. She tells her, however, that none of them are capable of doing what she can. Sister Veronica, the convent superior, forbids the use of the ability because she sees it as an unfortunate mutation. Sister Maria persuades Ali to stay despite the fact that she doesn't want to leave a paper trail and doesn't believe she can stay at the convent. She comes out as a trans woman and tells how her family rejected her. Veronica eventually located her and took her in, but as a result, her religion excommunicated her. Because of their generosity, all the women in this room have been despised. In response, they banded together to establish a monastery. The bus driver refuses to let her board his school bus as it is taking Joes to school. He's not picking up girls today. People at school are referring to the girls who have it. Classes are halted due to a governor's order to address the rumor that some girls are experiencing electrical discharges. Girls who have it are asked to name themselves by Joe's teacher. The females with it are being led outside, and Joe's acquaintance exposes both Kat and her for possessing the power. When Margaret and Helen attempt to speak with the plane accident survivors, they discover that the feds have already done so. They have a 12-year-old girl in custody after some commuters blamed her for the accident. Rob connects Margot with his ex-girlfriend Tash for assistance. Margot is given a hazmat suit by Tash before being snuck inside to see the child. She claims that a few days ago, pain in her wrists began. She is unaware of what she did and didn't intend to harm anyone on the plane. After that, Margaret speaks with the flight attendant. When she attempted to fasten her belt, the kid startled her. It burned at first, but then it felt wonderful. She now has the same abilities. She also believes that they were both responsible for bringing the plane down. Rob gives Margot a call to update her on Joe's. When they arrive at her school, they discover females imprisoned inside of transparent cages. When they gather up Joe's, she explains to them how her powers operate. Like other females, she is unable to control it. Not when she anticipates it to, anyway. When Joyce accidentally shocks Maddie's head during a fight with her brother over the remote, they witness this directly. Maddie's wound will heal, but it will leave scars. Even though Margaret makes an effort to console Joyce, she is uninterested. She believes that Margaret only considers her work when her family is in jeopardy. Joyce is then given an MRI, and the results reveal that her strength originates from her collarbone rather than her hands. Tash speculates that it may have been inactive all along and has now activated in order to survive. It was created by teenage females out of necessity. Daniel receives a call from Margaret informing him that girls are creating a new organ, and it might spread in some way. Daniel, however, is keeping this information to himself after learning about it from the federal probe. Margaret believes that he simply doesn't want to jeopardize his Senate race, but she still feels the need to inform and educate the public. Everywhere you look, politicians are labeling the power a scam. However, Margaret and Helen want to act morally. Margaret hosts a press conference as a result. She declares that teenage girls' supernatural abilities are real. She shares that the electrical condition is not a virus, rather it is the presence of a new organ along the collarbone and can also affect older women because they need to be informed about what is occurring in their own bodies. Margaret generates a lot of buzz during her news conference. People all over the world begin reiterating what she said after her. The word gets around, but not everyone responds with compassion. Martial rule and the death penalty are frequently demanded.